Hey everybody, Michael King here, and I'm here with my good pal Troy Cole, King+Cole, the Refractive Mavericks. Hope you are
What's
fantastic.
up?
And we want to, Troy, how you doing today, man?
Good, man. I'm feeling good.
Love it. I wanted to shoot. Well, we wanted to shoot a video here. Yesterday, I was on a webinar with some other fellow consultants. Maybe some of you had joined it, the Refractive Stimulus sort of webinar that we did. And there was, when I spoke, I actually had one of these slides up, this slide up right here. And I was talking about, these different brands, and I asked the question, well, what do these brands have in common? And, the quick answer is, during the pandemic, and right now, every one of these has enabled curbside pickup. Every one of these has innovated during times of adversity, and really been able to kind of focus on how do we, if we have our client in mind, our customer, if you will, what are some things that we can do to make it easier for them to engage with our brand? And so I thought that this is a great parallel, and we'll single in on Domino's, Troy, because I think that there's a lot that we can learn from other industries. And that's a big sort of a mindset inspiration I'd have for everybody is look at other industries for ways on how you can innovate in our industry. So I'm going to take the slide down right now. We can kind of have a chat. I want us to think about Domino's and, and draw the parallel to ophthalmology and specifically about an appointment, how people schedule appointments with your practice. And so many practices still to this day have an appointment request button on their website. And that is akin to going on to Domino's and requesting them to make a pizza for you. And then they get back to you. So you're on Friday night, you're like, look, I want to have my pizza. I'm ready to eat it. And they're like, okay, requesting a pizza online. And then Monday morning, when that staff member finally gets to that email, they kind of call you back and they play phone tag. Hey, this is Michael from Domino's. You wanted to order pizza. We're ready to do it. That's absurd, right? And I think that, I'm bringing up Domino's because when you have a patient that is wanting to schedule a consultation on Friday in the evenings or whatever, and you're making them request it, you're putting, it's just terribly inconvenient for them. And so I think that analogy hopefully makes a little bit of sense to people because people want to have convenience. They want to do it in the time that's convenient for them. And many practices say that, hey, we are all about patient convenience. We're all about the patient, but they're still making it a little bit difficult for people to be able to schedule consults online, whether it's in office or virtual. But Troy, I want to pass it over to you, my friend, and hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to make sure that we're all on the same page with what a contact request form is versus an online scheduler. Because just talking with practices, I know there's still some confusion about what that is. I want to make sure we're clear on what we're talking about here. So a contact form or a request form, which is what I'd say 98% of practices have on their sites, and what you probably have too, is a form where they ask, name, phone number, email, maybe days and times that you would like to end, okay? And then that person hits submit, that goes to your team, and then somebody in your team hopefully calls them back very, very quickly. We try to get people to call them back within 5 minutes during business hours, and we have some automations and things that happen after hours and on weekends to go ahead and engage people when they fill out one of those contact forms. But the important thing to note is when someone fills out that form, they are not actually scheduling that appointment with you. They are sending in their info, and then your team has to call them back or text them back or play phone tag with them in some way in order to go ahead and get them actually scheduled for that consultation. In the same way, it's ridiculous for Domino's Pizza to do that. If I took out practice and put in pizza, you would say, well, that's stupid. I want a pizza right now, right? It's kind of a silly analogy, but it definitely translates, right? That would be silly for a pizza place to do that. But practices all over the country are doing that every day. As in contrast to an online scheduler, ties in with your scheduling system or your EMR or your Salesforce, your CRM, whatever it is, where your actual consult availability is. And somebody can say, I want this appointment on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Here's my name, here's my info, boom. And right? And they get that confirmation and they're coming in on Tuesday. That's what the big difference is. And you can see the difference in convenience. You can see the difference in the number of steps that it takes to go back and forth. to get one done versus the other. And that's really what we're talking about here. And Mike, I got a new iPad with an Apple Pencil. And so I want to draw a picture.
What?
Real quick, man. Yeah, this is.
Well, why? While you're doing that, I got to tell you, I didn't even realize that Apple actually got a pencil. So it's just
oh man,
I learned something new today. How?
This is awesome.
That's hilarious.
So we try to explain concepts sometimes, and they're pretty big concepts. And I thought, man, it'd be easier if we could just draw some of these out sometimes. So what I wanted to show us real quick is the patient journey, right? Like Michael, like you just said, hey, most practices, almost pretty much everyone we talk to, if we say, hey, do you feel like your practice is really focused around the patient? Everybody says, yes, absolutely. We're patient focused. We're patient centric. That's the thing here. We're all about the patient. And I wanted to show you what this looks like practically if you've got a contact form or another inconvenient way for somebody to get into the door.
Yep.
So what we see practices is, so like you've got the patient journey here, right? So I'm not going to get too into this, but what we talk about in our trainings is that each of these points is what we call a decision point. All right. And those are the times that someone's making some type of a decision, right? To contact you, to book,
yep,
to come in, to schedule SX, to have surgery, right? All those things. And then these times in between are the incubation periods, right? And you can do some education and some different things during the incubation periods. When we talk to practices and they tell us, hey, listen, we're all about the patient. We got the best docs. We got the best lasers. Our team is awesome. All right. We got an awesome office with a nice coffee maker and it's comfortable and our wait times are low. All of those things are important and they're great and they absolutely must happen at your practice. But I want to point out that all of those things are happening once that person actually comes in for the consultation.
Yeah, actually in the clinic, right? Yeah.
So you are patient focused right here.
Once they're actually in the clinic.
Right here, exactly. But what about this over here? And that's what we're talking about. You might have the most patient-focused, most amazing experience once somebody gets in there, but we got to get them in there first. All right? So that's where you want to come in here and have that super convenient, order your pizza through an app, order your Chipotle through an app, one click, Amazon, buy now, ship to my house tomorrow. That level of convenience is what you want at this stage right here, this first stage, because this is what gets them over to your practice so they can come in, have the consult, and book that surgery, right? That's why we are so adamant about this.
The thing is that like, and to kind of, again, go back to the restaurant industry and some of the stats that I gave yesterday on that webinar, like 60% of millennials order their food on an app or in a third party for delivery to their home. So you already know that people are engaging with other brands on their cell phone. So why not use that to your benefit and make things convenient? People are still going to want to call your practice. Some people still want to call a pizza place and order their pizza. But right now, 40% of all restaurant sales all are online, right? So the thing is that healthcare is shifting in that direction as well. It's all about the convenience, not for you, but for the patient. And so if they are used to being on their cell phones, why not give them an experience that they can be able to start and do on their cell phone, whether it's scheduling an in-office appointment or whether, so it's sort of like, whether they want to come in and pick the pizza up or they want you to deliver the pizza, they can still be able to do it on their cell phone. And that's the whole point, is like, so many people have, so many practices have yet to embrace making things fully convenient for the patient on that part of the journey, which is before they come into the clinic. Troy, thoughts?
Yeah, I just don't want us to think that it has to be convenient for the patient or for the practice, because what we're talking about makes it super convenient for both, right? Think about the contact form that we described. The contact form comes in, your team gets some kind of alert. All right. So, point. Sally's supposed to call the patient back, but she's out at lunch. All right. So John's going to get that. All right. John tried to call him. He left a voicemail. Maybe Sally will call again later. Okay. The patient called back, but it was right after we closed. So now we're playing phone tag again. I got to make 2 or 3 phone calls, a few text messages, and go over the span of several days to finally, hopefully, connect with this patient or this prospect rather and get them booked for a consult.
Yeah.
As opposed to appointment request form, or pardon me, appointment scheduling form. They go in, pick Tuesday, 10 o'clock, ding, it shows up on your template. Oh, cool. John's coming in Tuesday at 10 for his consultation. Awesome. Your team didn't have to do anything.
That's a great point. The best solutions are ones that are win-win for all sides. And I think that's
100%.
You know, making it easier for your team to like stop playing phone tag with your patients, right? Like we all know, like right now, one of the things that was mentioned yesterday in that webinar is that staffing is one of the biggest challenges that practices have right now. And if you're needlessly having your staff to spend time to follow up the patients, to book them, and a lot of busy administrative work, they could be spending more of their time on getting and encouraging patients to leave a review, or getting patient testimonials, or providing better patient care, or whatever it may be, right? Like those, like you want to spend time on activities that can help your practice to grow. Busy work like that and following up back and forth with patients sometimes cannot be the best and most effective usage of your staff's time.
Yeah, you have a finite amount of time units, right? Energy units, whatever that is, based on your team. And so the more work you're putting in up front to get them in the door, the less effort and time and attention you can put on the back end, right? So like if we go back to work, right? If you're having to put in a bunch of work up front, then you can't put in as much down here, right? But if you go in here and it's like, this part's all easy work-wise, you can focus your more time, attention, staff, everything else right up here. That's where you want it, right? That's where you want everybody paying attention and giving that great patient experience. Make it convenient here, less work, less attention, less focus, less frustration for you and for your patients. Put all your effort and your time and your attention up here when they're in the office.
Cool.
Right?
I'm done. Troy, you want to close this out? Any final words?
No, man, that's it. Just keep innovating, man. I know that people watching this video, the docs, the administrators, the team members at the clients and the practices we work with are innovators. They're the people who push the limit, to do the research, who find the new thing, who want to bring new things to market for their patients to help change their lives and in turn change the world, right? That's what you're all about. And that's exactly what we're talking about here, right? It's just not about surgical equipment or lasers or certain things. It's about the actual patient communication process and the patient journey. So I want you to think innovation on your communication as much as on the actual service and results that you're providing. That's how you win.
Cool. And if you want to learn more, you want to connect with us, just go to refractivemavericks.com, and you have yourself a wonderful day. Thanks so much for listening to another podcast and video here with Troy and myself. Cheers, everybody.